And we welcome you into another edition of the College Talk Podcast, part of the Ollie Reed Sports Podcast Network. Just want to remind you guys, subscribe to the Ollie Reed Sports Podcast Network on both Apple and Spotify. Yes, we are back on audio as well if you can't join us on YouTube. This is the first ever live stream edition of the College Talk Podcast. This is episode 5. I'm very excited to talk about the 5-on-5 that's been going on and the recent rules and everything, and it's a little chaotic, to say the least. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen here over these next few weeks. How Congress is going to most likely try to pass this Protect College Sports Act, which I don't know. It could rule in Congress's favor. It may not. I'm honestly not sure. But obviously, is a big deal, and we'll go over that, and obviously talk about WVU men's basketball and their non-conference schedule as they just put North Carolina on their schedule for the 26-27 season here on Black Friday. And let's talk about the rest of the college basketball world from there. So with that, I'm going to bring in my co-host of the Ollie Reed Sports Podcast, Mr. Jagger Matheny. It's been a while, man. Hope everything's treating you well. I know school's just about to get started here in the next couple of weeks. So I know you got a new apartment and everything, man. Everything's seems pretty exciting for you so far.
Yeah, I'm in a new place now, and like you said, school's starting in a few weeks, so getting ready for that. And I just want to let everyone know that I'm in the process and working on making a TikTok account for college basketball content. I'm still trying to brainstorm some ideas and get everything together, but I'm just going to be going over personal takes I have on college basketball and going over team previews and doing some conference rankings and all that. So whenever that whenever I get all that together, I'll be sure to post that on my socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, wherever you guys want to see it.
Absolutely, and you already know me. The Hollywood Sports Podcast will continue to do coverage of all national coverage of college basketball throughout the 26-27 season. Um, but due to these recent injunctions and everything, and the uncertainty of who's going to be eligible and who's not, I was going to put in my power rankings, but I think we are going to save those until probably close to once the season starts, so probably right at the beginning of October. So hopefully here in a few months. But yes, I will be doing previews of college teams um, starting next week. And also, we'll give you guys some latest content and talking to high school and college basketball players from all across the country and college coaches as well. As we're continuing to build the ORS brand, we are getting close to 200 subscribers here on the YouTube channel. But as you already know, throughout all social media, we have over 10,000 plus followers on all of our social media platforms. So it's we're only continuing to grow from here. So we have three of our podcast platforms. The College Talk Podcast is one. The other one would be um, the Don't Sleep Now edition of the podcast, which is the podcast where we're going to be bringing in most of the top high school athletes across the country and the ones that don't really get talked about mainly throughout like all across the country in high school basketball. It could be here in West Virginia, it could be in Connecticut, could be in LA, who knows, and um, wherever, all across the country. And then obviously WVU News, which is going to be me and Jagger talking about the latest of WVU athletics. Primarily going to be basketball for the time being, but football is going to be on the way soon. I'll get to that in just a minute. Um, but yes, the new 5-on-5. Obviously, Colorado judge Charlotte Sweeney announced that the new for the 5-on-5 rule for the NCAA obviously was for the players for just for this year from freshmen into seniors and going into their 5th year. Now, this time around, um, the guys have already exhausted all their eligibility um, for due to the NCAA's rules cannot be allowed in. But Charlotte Sweeney made literally like put it on uh, I don't know how to say this, but she definitely she made a rule that to put the 5-on-5 eligibility, the ones to be grandfathered in, the ones that have already exhausted their eligibility to be grandfathered in. So very excited to see how this will turn out. Obviously, with all these injunctions going on and the NCAA being sued left and right all over the place, it's kind of crazy to figure this all out. So, but one of those players in particular, actually, there's two involved that could potentially be on the roster spot for WV men's basketball in 26-27. And those two players are Trayson Eaglestaff and Brennan Lorient. Obviously, two key players from last year's team that made it all the way to the Crown Championship back in April. So, very interesting. I don't know where this will go, to be quite honest with you, because you have two players that are looking to play college basketball for another year. But I know for West Virginia's roster standpoint, I feel like we need someone. I honestly think we need a forward in all aspects of the game, and I feel like Belo, bringing him back, a player that has a lot of experience playing under Ross Hodge, and you gain that momentum back. I say you bring Belo back to WVU basketball with this talented group that we have with Miles Sadler and Finley Bizjack and Mo Silla and all those guys. I think that's going to solidify WVU into the right at the very top, around the top 5, top 6 team in the Big 12.
Yeah, and I agree, Ollie. I think if you bring Lorian back, you got a guy who's already got a year under his belt in the Hodge system, and not only a year, but he was with Hodge another year at North Texas before Hodge came to WVU. And I think Lorian was arguably our best guy last year. He could score, he could do a lot of things, and like you said, I think having a forward spot would be the best spot to fill. You add him, you already have Mosilla, and I just think adding Belo back would be huge. And I think, like you said, it really solidify us as a top 6, top 5 Big 12 team, which I mean that's saying a lot. It's arguably the best basketball conference in America, and year in year out, top to bottom, it's stacked with great teams. And just to say, if you can be in that top 5, top 6, that's really big. Gives you a lot of momentum going into the year.
Absolutely, and I did want to mention this. Mountaineer headline said Trace never sued. I didn't mention that he sued. He was just on that list of players to be grandfathered in for additional year of eligibility. But yes, Javen Buchanan is one of those guys that was with Brennan Lorient that sued. Was in that filed suit to gain another year of eligibility, and hopefully, hopefully they're able to both be eligible because Buchanan, obviously, we already got to see this team practice a couple months ago during the summer period. But yeah, this team is pretty obviously as of right now. WVU obviously has been receiving a lot of national attention recently. I know Field 68. I know Jeff Goodman had WVU up pretty high. And then obviously John Rothstein put WVU as his sleeper in the Big 12 conference, which is huge coming from him. As everyone knows, John Rothstein is a huge basketball, legend, you know what I'm saying? Like a really legendary reporter. So yeah, I mean, obviously WVU's gotten a lot of hype. We got a lot of high level talent, both inside and out. But yeah, like I said, but adding another guy like Eaglestaff or Lawrence to your team is definitely going to give you, somebody that has experience from playing from last year's team, other than Amir Jenkins, which hopefully we'll get to see him play a little bit next season. I know he's still recovering from his shoulder surgeries, but there's a lot of obviously there's a lot of balance in it. I mean, we have guys that can can drive to the basket at will, and like I said, Finley Bizjack is one of those scorers that can just get going, get hot, and he can get hot quick. Miles Sadler, high IQ freshman. I mean, he's doing stuff that I haven't seen a usual freshman do. Finding good reads in practice and finding the right shots whenever needed. And it's really huge. Miles Sadler is a good player, and Mo Silla obviously is a big guy. And And let's talk about Amadou Cini, the big 7'1" kid. I mean, my goodness, I mean, it's true. It definitely makes Mosilla, look smaller. This is crazy because Mosilla is already like 6'10", 6'11". Um, so we definitely have some size. West Virginia definitely has some size this year. It helps their team out. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Seydou Traore, Martin Somerville. Um, Max Olias, got to mention Max Olias, Wheeling Central alum. But yeah, obviously it's huge. This is definitely a step up for Ross Hodge and company heading to year 2, and the conference schedule, which I'll go to here in just a minute. The reason why we're scheduling high level players is because we have a high level team that's a lot better than last year's group. No offense to those guys, because those guys are good, but in year 1 with Ross Hodge getting a mid-major roster and just trying to sell your team up to be somewhat competitive in the Big 12 in year 1 was definitely huge for them. And now heading into year 2 with this high-level talented group, I feel like with this year, the confidence should be up. And I know that Ross Hodge, there's a little bit of pressure to this team as of right now, as of early on in the year. But as of right now, I think we have the guys and the talent, to make it up to March Madness and even forward into this year, just from a way too early perspective of it.
Yeah, and I watched Coach Hodges' press conference the other day that he did, and he said there's a reason why that him and his staff went out and got these guys. He brought them in because he thinks they can compete at the highest level for national championships, for Big 12 championships. He talked about it, and he's right. It's winning a Big 12 title is not easy, and they really emphasize defense. That's something that he mentioned. That's one of the first things that he talks to recruits about, high school or transfer guys. One of the first things that him and his staff bring up is defense. If you want to win the Big 12 and be the best in the Big 12, you got to play defense. And he went out and got guys that fit his style and can play. I really think that overall we have 9 or 10 guys that can really play, can contribute and play meaningful minutes every game. You got guys like you said, Ollie, Miles Sadler, Finley Bizjack, Mosilla, Sannon, Traore. I mean, those aren't even all of them, and these guys can play. And I'll just leave it at that.
I know I forgot to mention Jozon Sannon. I know he's a really good player, and I know Mountaineer Headline just posted again. If we get both of these guys, there's no doubt in my mind that we'll be ranked early on the season. Hopefully we get ranked. Excuse me. I do agree that, obviously the BVU fans, like, in terms of like everything in sports, baseball, soccer, um, cross country, all that, track and field, all those other sports we're succeeding in. And football and basketball, I know, is where the university is getting the more revenue from, and you're definitely getting more ticket sales. And the women's basketball team as well, Mark Kellogg. Let's give that guy flowers as well, because him and that program have done such a fantastic job, and I feel like it's going to be something special to see in 26, 27 for them. But I do have to agree, though. With this group, and obviously getting Brennan Lorient back, if we're able to afford him, because he can still end up transferring. So I honestly don't know. We honestly don't know what to expect. I honestly don't even know what to expect from this, to be quite honest with you, because you know, even though it kind of blocks out the transfer portal, people are still going to transfer, and excuse me, I need to drink more water. Going over this list of players, college basketball players exploring a 5th-year eligibility. Mark Mitchell from Missouri. We got Jason Edwards from Providence, another guard that was played under Ross Hodge at North Texas. Darian Williams from NC State, who just signed to go play for Coach Mack at Texas Tech. A couple other guys that committed, like RJ Godfrey from Clemson. He's going to Arizona. JaMychal Stillwell also going to Texas Tech. Malik Ewan, who's assigned with Oregon, who was exploring a 5th year, going to Arkansas. Duke Brennan, obviously from Villanova, top-ranked forward. possibly most likely going back or going to a different school. Um, Micaiah Hanlogden, Micah Hanlogden, excuse me, former Marshall player, and obviously was a national champion at Florida, and Shendell Weaver from Texas, who just committed to Houston. I mean, there's so many of these guys exploring a fifth year and guys that have already committed. So we honestly don't know, like, if these guys, and they're eligible as of now, but that's the question, like, will this continue? Like once we get in like September of October and heading into November when college basketball season begins, hopefully we'll know by then when they're actually going to be eligible. And honestly, I hope they are. I really hope that they are going to be eligible because um because I feel like the 2022 athletes should be grandfathered in. I mean, I feel like the NCAA did put this in a little bit late, for this 5-on-5 rule to happen. And these lawsuits just end up continuing left and right. We're seeing injunctions happening in Ohio, most recently happened in Georgia. I mean, this obviously some big 5-on-5 chaos. But these 2022 athletes, I feel like they do deserve to be grandfathered in, and that should have been the end of it. Um, but like I said, there it is chaos for sure. But I feel like for these athletes, and even have to mention another in-state athlete in particular. Ice McNeely could return to college, so that would make it another in-state product heading back to college. Even though he just played for the Atlanta Hawks in the summer league, but he didn't sign Exhibit 10 contract, so he's still eligible to play another year of college basketball if he wants to. So that could be a pretty interesting factor. Maybe Ice McNeely could come to Morgantown. Who knows, man? That's even though we
But
already have, like I said, I feel like we already had too many guards. I feel like I said, I made my point about the forwards. I mean, we adding another forward would definitely be a huge step into the program. And like I said, like what Matt in your headline just said, like if we can get both Buchanan and Lorian eligible to play, I mean, that's a chance that West Virginia could potentially be ranked for the first time in a couple of years.
yeah, and I think if you get both of those guys, not just Buchanan, but also Brennan Lorian, if you can get both those guys back and on the team, that's just so big for Hodge and staff and the whole team. You bring two productive guys in, one who's already got a year in the system here at WVU, and you bring him back in. I mean, I think the ceiling's very high. I think it's definitely. I think even without Lorient and just Buchanan, I still think that West Virginia's a tournament team. But I think with Buchanan, those chances go up even, or excuse me, with Brennan Lorient, those chances go up even higher. And I think, like I said, the sky's the limit.
I agree, and and that comes with a very tough schedule. And I'm just going to bring it up here. West Virginia's home schedule, as of right now, West Virginia's non-conference schedule consists of Niagara for our home opener on November 2nd. We got a game against Mercyhurst on December 1st, and obviously we got two big games coming up in December with Virginia Tech at home on December 5th, and then we're playing at Pittsburgh on December 9th at PBG Paints Arena. And then obviously we got the Players Era Festival, which we're playing the Players Era 8 against Auburn. And then we play that game. We play either Kansas or UNLV. And then obviously November 19th for the third game, potentially playing either Houston, Florida, or Notre Dame. So, and then there's the rumored game that we're supposed to play Kentucky as well in Nashville. I mean, that's according to the KSR guys up in Kentucky's radio station. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot of power conference teams for 26, 27. And, that's obviously you're testing these guys to see if they're willing to, play at that certain level along with, Big 12 conference play. And oh, yep, and North Carolina just got finalized as well. Don't want to forget that. Just was finalized yesterday, with West Virginia and North Carolina set to play on Black Friday, which obviously that is going to be a huge game as well in Charlotte at the Spectrum Center. So yeah, I feel like they're going to bring us a tough challenge, and I'm just really excited for what's next to come, heading to next year.
Yeah, and I really like how WVU's challenging themselves early on with a tough and very, I don't know what the word is, but just a very tough non-conference schedule. We're seeing teams like Duke and Florida and other teams throughout the country play really difficult non-con schedules. And I think if you want to be the best of the best, you got to play the best of the best. And that's what you're seeing in November and December before Big 12 play. So I think it's just a really good way to get your feet in the water and test yourself early on for what's to come.
I agree, man. And man, I do want to talk a little bit about more about WVU basketball. I wanted to obviously I know we brought Coach Hodge here on the podcast here back in April, and obviously this was whenever they were still getting their guys and everything. And but he talked a lot of high praise about Miles Sadler here on this show, and honestly, like I do agree. I do feel like Miles Sadler. I mean, even he's getting some national recognition. You know, he's already in the NBA mock drafts. But there's so many other pieces of the puzzle here. You know, Jozon Sandin from St. John's, obviously really good sharpshooter. Finley Bizjack, another good sharpshooter, but he can also he's really quick. You know, he can drive to the basket at will. Um, Defensive side, I feel like there's some stuff that he can improve on the defensive side, but I feel like that's yet to come. Obviously, heading into the fall practices here soon, and Seydou Traore from Utah. You get a Big 12 guy coming in with some experience. You got Martin Somerville as a backup point guard at Florida State for a Florida State program that's literally about to be on the rise. And man, I know there's obviously Amir Jenkins is another guard, and Javen Buchanan if he's eligible. I mean, you know, he's a really good forward, and like there's so many options, really so many options on this team. Um, Sand also has Big 12 experience. Oh, yep, I forgot about that. Yeah, he played at Arizona State his freshman year as consensus 5-star player. So, I mean, so two guys that have played in the Big 12. Yeah, it's really huge. You know, really huge for this team to play high conference teams heading on high level programs heading early on heading to this upcoming year. Um, and I'm just kind of curious. Other than Miles Sadler and Finley Bizjack, and most so in all of them, like who's kind of like the underrated player that you've seen throughout this team before we head into the season? Like other than those top guys, we already know about them and all that. But who do you think is going to be like one of the true X factors on this program heading the next year?
Well, someone that really stood out to me was Somerville. I didn't know much about his game, but when I watched him, I thought he's very quick off the dribble. He can shoot pretty well, and I think he's not he's not going to be the guy to come in and give you a whole bunch of production, but I think whenever you need it, he's going to be there for you, and I think that's going to be the sleeper guy to watch out for. And I think all Mountaineer fans should keep him on their radar.
I agree. Martin Somerville is really good. I want to go with Cini. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time. You know, obviously, if one of our bigs is going to be in foul trouble, I feel like Cini is really going to be doing some back cleanup there. Or heading to the year, obviously, he's big 7'1", played at Bella Vista Prep with Miles Sadler, and I feel like his stock just continues to rise. Um, I mean, especially it continued to rise like into his senior year at Bella Vista, and and another player that I think could potentially break out is Diome, Alou Diome. I'm trying to pronounce the names right. Alou Diome, another Bella Vista guy. We're just gonna call it this is gonna be the Bella Vista Mountaineers. Let's just say it, Bella Vista Mountaineers. Let's just say it.
That's what they're
Um,
calling him.
that's what we're
That's what Hodge and staff are calling him. I've heard.
that's just what we're gonna
I've heard
call them
it.
for now. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just gonna have to call them that for now. But Bella Vista Mountaineers. Um, but yeah, Cini, he's really athletic. I think he could be our next DJ Thomas, as we've seen that DJ Thomas was like, well, we didn't even know what to expect from him because obviously he's now at TCU, a little bit closer to home. We obviously seen like there was some talk about him early on in the year during this time last season, and we were just like, well, I know he was a 3-star, comes from Allen, Texas, stayed loyal to Coach Hodge, and ended up doing pretty well his freshman year. Um, that's the most intriguing. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, and that's the most intriguing part to me also, just that, you know, you got some talented freshmen that can actually like step up in big ways, and we can see that through like even from like the teams that we're gonna play like for our exhibition against Maryland or our MEC opponent, which I think I may have some intel on who we're going to be playing in the MEC for our scrimmage. I don't want to say for certain, but it has been rumored that Glenville State is going to be. I don't want to be like the breaking news guy here, but it has been rumored that, from what I've been told from someone, is that Glenville State is going to be the MEC opponent that West Virginia is going to be facing off against for their home scrimmage. Because I want to say colleges can play up to 3 scrimmage games before the season begins, and obviously we already know the one that's made public was Maryland, and I think Glenville State is the other team as well. So could change. I don't really know. That's just what I heard. It's just a rumor going around. I don't know if it's true. But Glenville State has been rumored to be the team that West Virginia is going to face off against in the exhibition. But Glenville State's pretty good. Got South Harrison legend Corey Bolden, the sharpshooter. We got Rye Gadd for Webster County. Got a couple of those West Virginia guys in that team. Elijah Redfern as well.
Mar Maxwell.
And obviously state champion himself, Mar Maxwell. But yeah, it's really, really exciting. Oh,
Yeah.
another one, Mountaineer headline. It will be interesting to see how Hodge handles the minutes for everyone, considering those no red shirts now. Yeah, I know that's kind of weird that there's no red shirts, but honestly, kind of like give or take there. I do kind of like the 5-on-5 with 5 years eligibility with no red shirt. I feel like I think it's fair. I think that's pretty fair to put that in there. But yeah, man, it's very exciting. This is a very exciting time, but it's also like I know Dan Hurley even mentioned that it's chaotic for teams that are scrambling to find players during this time. Like, because I know LSU is one of the teams that I feel like needs to have that certain role because they don't have anybody. They only have like 4 players on their roster. And all the other pros on that team, yeah, I'm going to say professionals, including RJ Lewis, who honestly shouldn't even be eligible, to be quite honest with you, since he was already chose his path and went to the G League. Yeah, I don't know. But other than that,
It's a lot to take in. There's so much going on with that whole LSU situation and what Will Wade's trying to do, and it's too much. Like you said, you got RJ Lewis and other guys on there who's already played at somewhat like NBA or G League, and it's a lot.
it is. I mean, I can't even. I'm trying to keep track of all of it, but man, it's like I said. But this is the exciting part of it. I mean, this is the most exciting part of college basketball, to be quite honest with you. I mean, that's the fun of it for all of us media guys. But I know for the coaches, it's like it's heck on wheels. But but other than that, for us media guys, we try to stay up to date on as much as we can. And like I said, we'll be giving you guys some latest coverage. Jack Matheny, appreciate you as always being on the show, my friend. And so obviously, you've mentioned yourself about you're doing your college basketball work as well, starting this fall. So yeah, where can people find you on social media, my guy?
So right now you can just find me on my main Instagram. It's Jagger Matheny _. But whenever the TikTok account comes out, it's gonna be its own account just for college basketball and stuff like that. So whenever that all comes together, I'll make sure to get the name out there and all that. But for now, that's where you can find me at. But yeah, we'll have my own account for college basketball content eventually.
We're getting our next Ollie Reed Sports right over here, ladies and gentlemen. Right, this guy right here. So Jagger, appreciate the time, man. Obviously this guy's my co-host. I mean, I brought him in here for a reason. This guy loves college basketball, not just college basketball, but like all things like collegiate athletics, just as much as I do, and he covers all of it. Division I, D2, primarily like the D2 MEC. I know you're a big Fairmont State guy, and
Big
I just
Fairmont
can't.
guy, big Fairmont guy, and big Mountain East guy forever.
Big Mountain East guy. Yeah, shout out to Seaway too. That's the guy that holds the MEC sports account. So, but man, it's gonna be a lot to keep in. It's gonna be a very intriguing part of the season. Obviously, with trying to see whenever these 5-on-5 talk about these seniors per se that have already exhausted their eligibility, thinking that they might return. We don't know for sure. Hopefully, they do. Um, but yes, very exciting. This is definitely a very interesting, intriguing time in collegiate athletics, and I know in football season's right around the corner. I know we'll be covering that as well. But this is mainly just going to be talking about all things college basketball because the College Talk is the all things college basketball podcast, and I will be bringing in more episodes. Going to be bringing college coaches from all across the country, high school players and college players all across the country. And but yeah, team previews most likely going to be starting those next week. I definitely want to get started with these, even with everything that's been going on. I still feel like we are 100% going to be pushing forward to what we need to be doing to give you guys the latest content, all things college basketball and beyond. But yes, if you guys please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are only 20 subscribers away from 200. We're trying to get up to 1K by the end of the year. And obviously, keep on trying to grow the channel from here. So, but for Jagger Matheny, I'm Ollie Reed, and this has been the College Talk Podcast.